Welcome back to my channel High on Life Streamer. My name is Karima. I hope you all are doing really well. Now, first of all, I really want to thank you all for showering all the love on my previous video. You know what? A lot of people messaged me that they were going through the same emotional turbulence and they could relate with my video. This really means a lot, guys. If I'm able to help even a single person, that is going to be great. So, as I promised in my last video, today we are going to talk to an expert and understand what emotional intelligence is. We are going to talk to Mr. Nitin Mahadik, who is the founder of Transvivo. Nitin has 15 plus years of experience in training people with mindfulness. He imparts mindfulness training. He is a certified Search Inside Yourself trainer and a master NLP practitioner. So today in this video, we are going to understand from him what exactly is emotional intelligence. Guys, just one request. This video is going to be a little long, so have patience. Stay till the end because you are going to discover a great secret about our emotions. Trust me on that. And one more thing before we start it. I see a lot of people who watch this video have not subscribed to the channel yet. Guys, please do subscribe. If you like the video, like it, leave a comment in the comment section so that I get to know and I get motivated. So guys, please do like the video and subscribe to my channel. So we decided that we are going to do this Zoom call, and I'm very excited about it because whatever little I've learned from you, in past few months that I've known you, and I hope you remember initially when I came to you and we started talking, I was very skeptical about, understanding all these things when we spoke about emotions, how to handle them, being vulnerable, then coming to a practice of mindfulness. So today I am at a stage wherein I've started accepting it. And that is how I talk more about it now, and I've recently started a YouTube channel, as you know. And in the last video, I spoke to people about how I handled my emotions, and I gave them a lot of insight about what happened with my life. So coming from that video, and generally when I spoke to others also, I realized one thing, Nitin, that people don't exactly understand the importance of emotions, because coming from my personal experience also, I always used to feel being emotional is a sign of weakness. Emotions are a hindrance to success in life. So can you just throw some light on this?
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to speak from the dimension of emotional intelligence. And Peter Salovey and John Mayer are the pioneers who did this work. And then Daniel Goleman wrote the famous book, Emotional Intelligence. There are four main aspects of emotional intelligence. One, the ability to perceive your emotions. For example, a lot of times when I ask people, so what are you feeling? And people say, I'm okay, I'm great, I'm fabulous. And in a funny way, I say these are not feelings, these are Instagram feelings. Because you have not perceived your feelings accurately. And therefore, okay is not a feeling. I'm great is not a feeling. Okay, so that's the first step. And so many times we do not perceive our emotions accurately for the sole reason that many times all that we have done for years together is to suppress our emotions, and therefore we can't perceive it. So that's the first aspect. The second is to understand your emotions and use language to describe it. Again, going back to I'm okay is not a feeling, is not an emotion. You have to understand and describe that. Okay, and this perceiving of these emotions is not just in self, but it is also perceiving the emotion in the other person. For example, so many times we have had this experience in our life. We went and met our friend in a very good mood and started pulling a prank on that friend. And the friend said, can't you understand? I'm not in a great state of mind. And we did not perceive that, and we went on our own trajectory, and probably something that we wanted to create some light moments ended up into a conflict because we did not perceive the emotion in the other person. So perceiving emotions in self and others, understanding those emotions and using language to describe them, The third one is ability to regulate emotions in self and others, both. I'll give you another example of this. The other day I was taking a U-turn in a very narrow lane, and this two-wheeler coming at a fast speed did not exactly gauge my speed, and he came and bumped into my car and fell off the road. Suddenly, he coming with rage. Hey, I'm going to bash you up. Come out of the car and all that. I got out of the car, and the first thing that I did was, I'm really sorry. The moment I did this, he calmed down. Now imagine if at that point of time I would have got into this conflict of I am right and you are wrong and you did not see me turning and I had given you the indicator and all of that. A huge conflict would have taken place, and usually it's the Indian rule. The guy in the car is wrong most of the times, right? They don't even check who is right and who is wrong.
Right.
But I perceived the emotions in him. He was angry, but he was not angry. He was first of all fearful, because in a few moments on his bike, he was suddenly crashing on the road. So that rage or that aggression came out of his fear. So my job that time was to regulate his emotions and also to regulate my emotions, because 15 people were watching us on the street. So the ability to regulate emotions in self and others. And now here is your most important point. Using this information of the emotions for decision making, critical thinking, social interactions, and relationships. And so many times we have said, think with your mind and take a decision. No, that's wrong. There's enough evidence now, enough scientific research which says that emotions play an important role in decision making. And I always give this example. Take the most important decisions of your life. You looked at logic, of course, However, the final decision happened when you were fully convinced in your gut. And you said, I felt fully convinced to go ahead. And sometimes, even when the data is not available, but if you feel very certain at your gut, you take that decision. So emotions are not an hindrance. Emotions are an important aid for us to live in a very wholesome way.
Right. But still they are perceived to be hindrance, and whether it is school or corporate life, if you see, people don't understand emotions as such, and not everybody talks like you, or not everybody behaves like you, the way you behaved with that person who was in the car and during the accident. Why is it that we are not able to understand it? Or let me put it another way. So we talk a lot about, you just started your sentence with emotional intelligence. So what exactly is emotional intelligence, or we say emotional quotient? There's a lot of thing between IQ and IQ everybody knows. EQ, people are not aware of.
Yes. So emotional intelligence, these are the four main pillars, as I said. And if you have to look at the definition, emotional intelligence is the ability to perceive and monitor emotions in self and others, and to use that information for decision making, relationships, social interactions, so on and so forth. If we classify this further, picking up from Daniel Goleman's work, there are four pillars of emotional intelligence. One is self-awareness. Again, it goes back to the basic foundation, self-aware, how self-aware we are, and we'll talk more about that. The second is self-management. The third is empathy. The fourth is relationship management, and the fifth is leadership skills. So these are broad areas of emotional intelligence, but the foundational skill is self-awareness. And by self-awareness, what is the definition of self-awareness? To be aware of the changing internal states of consciousness. And what is this consciousness? This consciousness is a bundle of physical body, the feelings that arise in the body, the thoughts that are formed in the mind, the perceptions that arise from this thought, and all this we become aware because we have a consciousness. And all this is continuously in a flux. They all are changing at every point of time. So to be acutely aware of these changing shifts in consciousness is self-awareness.
Yeah, that's correct. And when we hear about it, it feels so good to understand, okay, you need to be aware. And today a lot of people are talking about it. Even Sadhguru talks a lot about it, self, be aware. Now, as a layman, or a person who's very busy in his day-to-day life, is not able to understand how he can come to a stage, because whatever we are talking right now, okay, not everybody first of all is aware of it. We are never taught this anywhere in our life. Like, from childhood till now, I did not know exactly what was emotional intelligence. My personal experience, Nitin, all I knew was, which people told me, you're very emotional, you're very emotional, you're very emotional, you're very emotional. And I felt this is a sin, because I was someone who used to trust people easily, who used to talk to everyone in the school or in office, who was very friendly with a lot of people. I am someone who gets very affected by other people's emotions. So let's say there's something going on in your life, and you share it with me, so I'll become very emotional and I'll feel it for you. So in past few years, people made me realize that this is not right. You should not feel anyone's emotions, and you should not be so emotional for things. So this is the perception that I'm sure a lot of people have, that being emotional is weak. So how do we learn about it, and what's the best way to understand it? Because one thing that I understand is that, because our emotions are in such a chaotic manner, there's so much chaos, we are not able to deal with it. And that is why there are other issues that we are facing today. So when we talk about anxiety, when we talk about depression, when we talk about not being in the right mental state, I think all this is my personal experience, correct me if I'm wrong, all these arise because we are not able to understand emotions, which are the basics of human existence. So what do you have to say about it?
Yeah. So I keep saying this, for example, to earn a few lakh rupees as our salary or business income, we spend 15 years in formal education, right? And after 15 years of formal education, except if you've passed out from the premier institutes, then you will probably get a package of like 1 crore. But let's say other institutes, maybe you'll get a package of 10-15 lakh rupees. And over a period of time, that 10-15 lakh, when towards your end of your career, you might end up with a package of like 5-6 crore rupees. If you have to quantify this, to be able to do that, to end up with a package of 5-6 crores, you've taken 15 years of formal education and you've spent 20 years into your career, which means you've spent 35 years of your life to quantify into a certain financial reward. But if you ask question to people about what does it take to be successful in life, technical skills is only a small part of it. After you earn your technical skills, what you need is resilience, inner strength, the ability to manage setbacks, the ability to even manage success, because people can get carried away in success as well, the ability to stay balanced, the ability to focus and pay deeper attention, the ability to manage conflicts, the ability to inspire people. All these are not technical skills. They are not hard skills. They are soft skills, as they say. But for me, I say that they are the most important skills that we need. For example, let's say leadership at the highest level, nobody will go and ask them technical questions. They will ask questions about how are you driving this ship further? How are you going to make strategic decisions? How are you going to engage and inspire people? How are you going to solve these conflicts? And we have to start learning this in a very methodical way right from our childhood. Sadly, even today, I see parents put their children into dozens of hobby classes. Of course, these children will learn important skills there. But I don't see parents investing or sending their children to learn emotional intelligence, to learn about these most important inherent skills. And therefore, I also want to highlight this point. If you look at rage, if you look at fear, anxiety, all this is coming up very early in students right now, because we are living in a good and a bad age both. So I'll give you another example why I see this good and bad age. Let's take an example of an athlete professional athlete. In school, this athlete loses the game that day. Okay. A few years ago, it was only confined to him or her and their team and their family. Only these people knew it. But now this person logs on to social media, and somebody from his opponent side or somebody from the other side has won the game that day, and that person has put the status on WhatsApp or the Instagram or Facebook, and he or she will find that this status has been liked by 200 people. This person starts going in a downward spiral. I am not kidding, but in schools, children are now fighting that you did not like my status, but you liked his or her status more.
I so agree with you. And sorry for cutting you. We just have a recent example, of what you're saying is so true. Recently, there was a news that wrestler Babita Fogart and Jinpe Dangal Bani
I was going to say that. Exactly.
their cousin just died by suicide because she lost in a match by just 1 point. Imagine she was so talented, I'm sure. That is why she lost from 1 point, and she could not cope up with the failure.
Yes, exactly. Because now, I'm going to quote another psychological research. It says that human beings are not designed to take feedback from the world. Anybody coming and trolling you and all of that, disliking your picture and all of that, we are comfortable taking feedback from the people who we know, who we are close to, who can openly criticize us. But now we are thrown out to the world, and therefore, if you make this choice that I allow myself to be thrown out to the world, then you will have to be really, really emotionally intelligent to manage your own emotions. I'll give you one personal example. One of my Facebook story, my friend saw, and he messages me saying, "Nitin bhai, aap to bade fake lag rahe ho. ये क्या वीडियो बनाई है आपने? ये तो बिल्कुल नकली लग रहा है." So now with that just one
there are people
comment,
like that.
With that one comment, I can suffer for 8 to 10 hours if I don't understand self-awareness and self-management. Not just 10 hours, I can suffer for 1 week.
Maybe a month, maybe for your entire life.
Yes, because our mind easily goes towards something that is negative. And therefore, I call the mind as a slippery mind. It slips into negative very easily. And therefore, I feel all parents, all educational institutions, and by the way, our government has introduced the school mental health program, in that children are supposed to now learn mindfulness and meditation and practice skills of self-regulation and self-awareness.
So guys, you saw how digitalization has really affected our mental and emotional state. We live in the age of Facebook and social media, and today, frankly, we can't avoid it, or we can't, tell our future generation not to use it. So today, it's all the more important to learn how to be emotionally intelligent and how to handle our emotions. Because if we are emotionally intelligent and we understand the impact of it, we can save ourselves from a lot of mental health issues that arise. So guys, in the next video, we'll understand what we have to do next. So stay tuned. Take care. Bye-bye. See you very soon.